Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. My name is James, and today, let me just scoot that further away, we are talking about my top favorite models to paint. Now, not specific models, model ranges. Let's just go with that. But as you can imagine, this is a Warhammer channel. Is Warhammer going to be on here? Absolutely. However, I will be a bit more specific, and I'll explain why that's on there, but there's going to be another one that you might be surprised about. So, let's just go ahead and let's dive right into it. So for number one, of course, it's Warhammer. One of my top favorite models to paint is Warhammer, but more specifically, I like to paint the Seraphon. The Seraphon just got a model refresh not terribly long ago, and they are so much fun. As you can see here from this banner alone, if you don't want to paint this, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, these models are absolutely incredible. Seraphon is absolutely what Contrast was made for. With all the textures and the assembly, they are just so much fun to paint. They are so cool. It's dinosaurs riding dinosaurs, and they're just a blast. You can have a bunch of fun with the basing and everything like that, and they're overall actually pretty quick turnaround. Now, if you want to spend extra time on them, you can absolutely spend extra time on them. But some absolute standout models. The Croxagore are incredible. They got updated. The new Saurus Warriors are absolutely peak. The new Slan was a lot of fun to paint. I actually won a Best Painted award for painting up my Slan the way I did. This one's obviously going above and beyond, but the Seraphon models are absolutely tops. I love them to death. They're just some of the coolest models out there. So for the first one, it definitely goes to the Seraphon. There's so much fun that you can have with them, paint them all sorts of different schemes. I still to this day have not painted a Lord Croak. I am actually nervous to paint a Lord Croak because he looks very intricate. He's got a lot of cool details, and I absolutely wanted to do the Mummy Slan the absolute honor he deserves. So for number one, Seraphon from Age of Sigmar. For number two, we're going in a little bit of a different direction. I thoroughly enjoy, now pause for, groans and everything here, Space Marines. I actually really enjoy painting Space Marines. I just have the Dark Angels up here because that's one of my main chapters. I still really love the Dark Angels. I have a tattoo that is currently healing, where I just got touched up from my tattoo artist. Is Dark Angels the easiest chapter to paint? I'd argue no. The Deathwing can be a little bit easier to paint at times. The Deathwing scheme, I think, is a little easier, but there's the one thing that 40k always kind of has going against it in terms of its models is they have a lot of they have a lot of extra details. To pick them all out is very, very tricky. I mean, even if you look at your HQs, the lion was actually pretty easy to paint, and it actually was pretty fun to paint. I had a blast painting up my lion. He's such a cool model. Incredibly well executed. Probably one of the most well executed models in the past couple of years for 40k. I think he absolutely is a standout. Even Azrael. I had a lot of fun painting up Azrael. His back banner is a little difficult to paint, especially if you put on the helmet, but I had a blast painting him up. He's very, very fun. But overall, I like painting Space Marines because here's the thing, people who say that painting Space Marines is boring hasn't tried enough different methods of doing it. I really enjoy just doing the contrast method, doing airbrush method, doing traditional method, and doing stippling method. There's a really cool stippling. It's kind of what I did for my Night Lords, where you do, your base coat stippled all over, and then you do one highlight up, and then you do one final highlight in a few select areas. Ninjon did a video of it for his Night Lords. I did a very similar thing, except I didn't do the giant grime wash all over it because you know what? Let's dive into it right now. If you just put AK streaking grime all over your model, if you just cake it and wipe it away and you're like, oh, look, it's grim dark. I don't understand people who do those. I mean, if they're your models, you can absolutely do whatever you want with them. If that's the way you like to do them, thumbs up for you. I just don't understand it. I don't think it looks great. And there are some people where I see an incredible paint job and they're just like, and now time to do a little bit of AK streaking grime. And I just start going, no, stop. And then they just cake it and ruin the model for me, if I'm being honest. But nevertheless, for number two, I enjoy painting Space Marines. I think there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do with them. And for people who hate painting Space Marines, think they're the most basic thing, you just got to get creative with it. You get creative with it, you'll have a fun time. So Space Marines, number two.
Today's video is sponsored by The Forge for all your hobby nerd needs. Whether it's Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Marvel Crisis Protocol, Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Lorcana, and a plethora of board games, The Forge has what you need. The Forge has been my go-to shop, and the inventory has only grown. If there's something you don't see on the shelves, fill out a product request form on their...
Last but not least, one of my favorite miniatures to paint are Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures. These miniatures are low-key some of the best miniatures out there. They have such incredible potential. I mean, even looking at these ones coming up, the Tomb of Dracula, like, this is terrain. This is just dope from front to back. You have like the little altar there, like with the tomb. You have like little treasure over there, the stained glass window. They do such a good job with their modeling. And even here, where you have like Dracula, you have Werewolf by Night, Frankenstein's monster, the Marvel Crisis Protocol just roster is incredible. And they're all so much fun to paint up. Even though their bases are pretty basic, they give so much life to the models, and their assembly is actually pretty smooth. They leave very low mold. There's virtually no mold lines on these things. At least the ones that I've built, they've been very, very streamlined. They give you such incredible dynamic posing and everything like that, and they just kind of keep getting better. I personally, probably a bit more of a DC fan myself, but I do absolutely love Marvel, and I absolutely love what they've done with these miniatures. I think they're incredible. I have a blast painting them. I actually picked up the X-Men affiliation team, and I painted up Cyclops and Wolverine and Beast, and I sat down and did them all at one time because they were so much fun. I do have the Brotherhood of Mutants that I'm really excited to paint up. These models are what models should be. Plastic miniatures, they do an absolute... Like, GW is definitely still probably the top model maker, but MCP is low-key one of the best ones out there, and I feel like any other independent company or anything like that that's looking at getting into a miniature game of any kind should look to them as an example on how to do your miniatures. I think the Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures are better than the Shatterpoint ones, but that's just an artistic styling difference. I don't really care for what Shatterpoint has done with like the modeling side of things because they're more based on the animated series, and I like the animated series. I just don't like that one personally. For me, in terms of like an actual model, I would prefer closer to Legion, something like that. But I would say Marvel Crisis Protocol, these miniatures are absolutely incredible. I love painting them. The skin, the definition, everything is so well done in every single one of these miniatures. It's hard not to like start painting one and stop. They're just such a blast to do. So last but not least, number 3 goes to Marvel Crisis Protocol. So those are my top miniatures that I thoroughly enjoyed painting. Of course, let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. I'm starting to recover now. I was sick last week. It sucked. My back is starting to get a little better. Still got a few little bits of pain. If you're following my Instagram, you see I've been working on my Inner Circle companions. I've been having a blast with them. But as a whole, we're coming up. We're feeling better. Hopefully we should have some more content. Next week, I'm actually going to a GT, so next week we can probably look for me posting up a list that I'm probably going to go to in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, so I'm going to go check that out. Was there something else I need you... Oh, yeah, I needed you to go paint something.